The details of The Division 2 are finally with us, and the community has every reason in the world to be excited. Ubisoft Massive has bombarded us with literally a barrage of hard, factual evidence about how factually awesome The Division 2 will be. We are literally overloaded with factual information about how everything is fixed, everything will be awesome, and how everything will be better. They have provided so much factual scientific proof that everyone must get hyped about this game. At E3 2018, Ubisoft showed us this encounter, a stage show. This encounter, a crappy statue. This encounter, no evidence of anti-cheat. This encounter, star players getting selfies. This encounter, weird running animations.
Wiggle, 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 yeah. Wiggle, 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 yeah.
This encounter, in-game microtransactions.
What are we doing, Jeremy?
This encounter, suck-up interviews. This encounter, a big sheet with the word raids written on it. This encounter. Guys, I think we're being mugged off again.
I am an optimistic guy.
No two ways about it. As predicted, the Division 2 hype train is steaming down the tracks, and Ubisoft Massive is exercising its dominion over all forms of media with an iron fist. Well, maybe less of an iron fist, more like a cheap surgical rubber glove, heavily lubricated with KY jelly and lightly sprinkled with builder's sand. Ubisoft is censoring the subreddit, which apparently they don't run, and the forums, which they definitely do. The star players have nearly all volunteered to drink the Kool-Aid by the fucking bucket load and signed up for a free lobotomy. Many were seen staggering around E3, blowing bubbles and grinning while snapping selfies of themselves with famous game developers. Way to represent the community, homies. Enjoy the pool. It is now beyond question that any hope of balanced, rational, critical analysis coming from most of the Division content creators has fucking evaporated. Don't judge them too harshly though. Integrity, honesty and common sense, after all, doesn't get you flown out to LA and wanked off by AAA game publishers. Just be warned, ladies and gentle cunts, there ain't no such thing as a free lunch. But then again, I guess some of you have realised that by now. The community managers are tightening their grip on the release and circulation of all Division 2 breaking news, and all technical and factual developments are being carefully leaked via their cadre of hand-picked and well-compensated content creators. All info is distributed to them, so they can release the breaking news before anyone else, thus helping secure Ubisoft's stranglehold on the YouTube ecology. These motherfuckers have the entirety of the Division information and propaganda machine nailed down tighter than the Warsaw Ghetto, only with a hell of a lot more non-disclosure agreements thrown in, and with considerably less subtlety. And as predicted, even some of the most cynical, mature and cautious members of the community are acting like the type of gullible cunt that gets scammed by Nigerian phone scammers, and only opening their idiot holes to say things like, "I think Ubisoft Massive learned its lesson with Division 1 and Division 2 is going to be perfect. I'm super hyped about the launch." Good for you, son. The nurse will be round shortly with your mashed banana and detox medication. I'm sorry, but so far all we've seen is an encounter, very odd Mass Effect running animations, a fuck ton of microtransactions, and no word about all the important shit everyone is worried about. Server quality, anti-cheat, PvPvE balance, and how stuffed full of loot crates this fucker will be. But I can answer that last one right now. The Division 2 will be fucking organised around the sale of microtransactions and pedo caches. No, seriously, The Division 2 will be jam-fucking-packed with pedo caches, and they will continue to jam it with more throughout its life cycle, like a Bolivian drug smuggler stuffing packets of heroin up a drug mule's rectum. And all the while, Ubisoft Massive and all the star players and ETF will be chanting, "But at least it's not pay to win." And they will chant it like members of some weird cult. Because they are members of a weird corporate cult. We have seen the same art museum and plane over and fucking over, with an unfinished character build menu and purple gear. Everything is looking very pretty, I will admit. Particularly the cubist artwork and the Italian Renaissance drawings. And the game isn't looking too bad either. I mean, it's no fucking Pinturicchio, but it's definitely a C+ for effort given the deadline. It looks nice, I won't deny it. But my mate once went home with a girl that looked nice, and she turned out to have a dick. It is, however, very fascinating how you guys are all shrewd enough to know that when I said my mate, I was really talking about me. Weird that everyone is so fucking shrewd when I'm talking about my bad date, but throw a load of video game hype in front of you, and some of you roll over like a fucking pussycat wrestling with a catnip toy. Getting excited about The Division 2 at this point makes about as much sense as organising your travel plans based on information you read in this book. We haven't seen enough to judge, so everyone needs to calm the fuck down and remember that E3 is a fucking industry sales show. Most of the highly viewed videos about this game are commissioned, controlled and promoted by Ubisoft. Nobody critical or impartial has managed to get anywhere near the finished game. How can I claim that as being a fact? Because the finished game does not fucking exist yet. Ubisoft said that, and it's probably the only bit of information I believe. Look, we know so little about The Division 2 at this point that we don't even know which creepy World War II Nazi machine guns they're going to include. Although my money is on the Sturmgewehr 44. The cult leader of the Church of Ubisoft made an appearance. I watched an interesting interview with Yves Guillemot. The TLDR is that he's a multi-billionaire. Ubisoft are rolling in fucking money. But apparently they still need to pack games full of loot crates and microtransactions because otherwise they won't be able to afford to make video games. I'm no expert in economics, but I'm pretty sure there's something wrong with his logic. But I can't quite put my finger on it. Oh yeah, that was it. It's a total fucking crock of shit. And I can't shake the feeling that he's probably laughing at us all behind our backs. Still, to his credit, he looks great in selfies. The cherry on top of this enormous sugar-coated shit pie of hype is the fuckstorm of bogus sock puppet posts appearing routinely across all social media platforms. They're all some kind of generic pre-scripted post along the lines of, "I'm super hyped about The Division 2. I really think Massive learned from their mistakes, and this time it's going to be super awesome. I'm stoked, guys." They are easy to spot. They look like they've been written by 10-year-olds to appeal to 10-year-olds. And the account names are usually some kind of anagram of Hamish Bode. Okay, they aren't. But they should be. Look, if E3 was selling pharmaceuticals, double glazing or holiday homes, everyone would be cautious and critical. But because it's a video game sales show, a frightening proportion of the gaming community have decided to throw out skepticism and caution, with the same casual vigour that a long-distance truck driver throws cups of piss out of the cab window. Rational thinking skills have been officially suspended. Don't say I didn't warn everyone. When this shit comes back to bite the community in the arse in late March and early April, when the reality fails to live up to the hype. Oh, and if anyone is wondering why they fucked up the perfectly brilliant character animations from The Division 1 and replaced them with some kind of fucky Mass Effect animations,
Wiggle, 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 yeah. Wiggle, 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 yeah.
well, it's simple. I know I will sound like a broken record when I say this, but it's almost certainly microtransactions. Think about it. If The Division 2 had the same character models and the same character animations, everyone would be losing their shit that their in-game cosmetic items were not being ported over, and we had to buy them all over again. Seriously, think about this. Everyone loves the character design and animations in The Division 1, and they are breaking it for no logical reason. There has to be a justification that involves money. If you can think of a better one, please let me know. Well, since Ubisoft is so keen to keep telling us how they have learned their lessons, what's the general condition of The Division 1 right now, and how is patch 1.8.2 treating the players? Well, pretty badly, I guess. Patch 1.8.2 has not resolved a lot of issues. The showstopper is still basically the hand of God and crushes all enemies in its path on console. It's easy to bypass its maximum rate of fire, and that's without using shady hardware. You can now throw your healing station and CC turrets practically into fucking Brooklyn. And as usual on console, it's still a Kronos Max eye-tracking fuckfest, with people running up to 50 scripts to totally fist-fuck non-cheating players 6 ways from Sunday in the DZ. For those of you who don't know about scumbag bottom feeder hardware that you can use to fuck over legitimate players, check out the Engon channel. Over there, they promote Kronos Max and eye trackers. Yeah, what the fuck. I would also like to bring up a much requested complaint from a lot of players. When in fuck's name are they going to fix the fucking pre-grenade stagger damage bug? As SRBPower says, it's the single biggest frustration in the PvE game and has plagued it for so long now. This bug is right up there with the support station bug, and the fix for that only just arrived. I guess the moral of the story is, it's a bit rich for Ubisoft to shoot its mouth off at E3 about learning its lessons whilst this shit is still in the game in July 2018. I could say something funny or fancy right now, but I'm just going to speak the truth. It's pathetic that this isn't fixed. But let no man cast down judgment or doubt upon me and sully my reputation. I'm not a toxic, negative critic of The Division. Nay, I am a glass half full person. I will admit, maybe I'm slightly closer to being a glass half full of piss kind of person. But nevertheless, let's talk about the extensive list of positive improvements that showered down upon the game with the introduction of patch 1.8.2. The Phoenix credit limit was increased from 5,000 to 8,000, successfully, for many players. And this change took less than 18 months to implement. Let's face it, typing plus 3,000 into a spreadsheet is a big project, with lots of obstacles and built-in inertia and traction. Shit like that can't be done overnight. No, actually shit like that can be totally done overnight. Some of the other bug fixes worked fine, which is nice. They introduced shields. Players can repeat all the stuff they are fuck bored of doing, and in return win arm patches you will never see them wearing. There is a beautiful intrinsic symmetry to the perfect pointlessness of shields. Yeah. That's about it really on the good news. At the end of the day, they really need to fix the horribly shit servers before anyone can have a meaningful discussion about learning from experiences and improving the game. And that ain't gonna happen. I mean, waiting for several minutes at the end of a mission for it to cap as complete, or standing in the base of operations listening to the mission audio carry on for another 5 to 10 minutes. I mean, what the fuck? And that is just the cosmetic stuff that doesn't affect gameplay. The lagathon in-game is beyond words, and the DZ is a fucking mess. Before I move on to LA, E3 and the notorious statue scandal, I did just want to briefly mention the Division subreddit. I'm going to be coming back to this issue again in another video, but for now I just want to bring up the issue of censorship at the behest of Ubisoft. Yes, you heard that right. Prior to the E3 Ubisoft show, I posted up a video analysing the Division 2 trailer and making predictions. This post was blocked on the subreddit. I contacted the moderators, who explained that they were censoring posts on the subreddit during the E3 Ubisoft show and it had to be manually approved. I won't bore you with the details, but here are the key 3 points. 1. They were not too busy to approve it. They had plenty of time to fucking discuss with me why they couldn't approve it. Because they were apparently too busy. Instead of just fucking approving it. 2. As I pointed out to them, Ubisoft's E3 show hadn't even started yet. So their excuse was, in the nicest and most delicate way possible, a big, fat, fucking, shitting lie. And 3. Why the fuck is our independent subreddit censoring posts for Ubisoft during E3? A subreddit servicing the interests of a game publisher at the expense of the community is a very shady area when it comes to Reddit terms of service. The subreddit should be working for the players, to help us leverage the community managers into pressuring Ubisoft into fixing stuff. The subreddit should not be working in unison with the community managers to censor the subreddit and turn it into an advertising platform for Ubisoft. This arrangement works at odds with the interests of the players, the community, the fucking consumers, Reddit rules, and just as importantly, it actually works against the best interests of the game itself. I think the guys who run the subreddit have grown too close to Ubisoft, and that's putting it generously. That night, they were dishonest. Their excuse to me was factually untrue. They sat on my predictions video deliberately, a video posted up before the E3 show, and then approved it after the show was all over, effectively making my predictions video fucking redundant. That is one day of my fucking life they owe me. I'm sure the Reddit admins are not a bad bunch of guys. I've had some fairly pleasant exchanges with some of them. I'm not saying they're villains, but let's call a spade a spade. Here are the facts. They censored my video in the interests of Ubisoft's publicity machine during E3. The excuse they gave me was factually untrue. They were literally telling me they were unable to approve my post during the E3 show because they were too busy. And as I pointed out to them, it hadn't even fucking started yet. So they were clearly bullshitting me. To my face. And it's not gone unnoticed that a proportion of the moderators who run the subreddit are Ubisoft Elite Task Force members. Yeah, that could possibly cause a conflict of interest. You will draw your own fucking conclusions. I've drawn mine. If you can't see why having our subreddit run by Ubisoft Elite Task Force members is problematic, you are simply too gullible to be let out of the house on your own. I'm sure the moderators on the Division subreddit are like admins and moderators everywhere. They do a thankless task, which is very hard to do. They get a ton of abuse and get very little reward for their tireless effort and sacrifice. And we all, theoretically, owe them a big debt of thanks. Providing, of course, they're working in our best interest. If they're working in Ubisoft's best interest, then we don't owe them a fucking thing. And Ubisoft should be paying them a proper fucking wage. I don't give two donkeys fucks in the arse which it is. But it's time Ubisoft and the subreddit decided where it stands. They need to put up an official Ubisoft subreddit sign and start paying their staff. Or step off and let us have an independent subreddit. The current compromise situation is untenable. I'm sorry, but anyone who claims our subreddit is neutral, impartial and operates independently of Ubisoft Massive is one of 4 things. Badly informed, a liar, a cretin, or an agent of Ubisoft Massive itself. I think it's maybe time people were honest with themselves about where they stand, because let's be frank, nobody is fucking fooling anyone anymore. So let's talk about the Division statue in LA. Sign up for the Division beta and get a chance to be on the statue. Ain't that the kicker with statistics? They can often be misleading. For example, what does a chance actually mean? Well, I put on my scientist's white lab coat, grabbed my abacus and did some sophisticated analysis on the percentages. Statistically, being a YouTuber, a Twitch streamer, a star player or a member of Ubisoft's elite task force is the only guaranteed way to get your name on that fucking statue. Lol, what? The community team caught out bullshitting again? Never. How could that be? The community management team's behaviour is often reminiscent of a junkie. They're addicted to positive publicity, and truth, facts and honesty is just shit that gets in the way of the next fix. Why tell us you're working on something when you're not? Why say you don't have the budget when you have? Why tell us it's State of the Game episode 100 when it's episode 101? Why tell us the names on the statue are taken from the beta sign-up list when they are totally not? It's so cute that these days they don't even care that there is a difference between the truth and what they decided to make up. It's all one big blur of reality and make-believe for them now. Who needs the truth? I'm waiting for Petter to declare that he's a princess who lives in a castle and rides a unicorn. I suppose it could be an honest mistake. The CMs contacted head office for a list of names, and instead of Ubisoft sending names from the beta sign-up list, they sent them a list of names from the payroll department by mistake. Who knows? But don't take my word for it. Let's take a look at some of these random names which are supposed to be randomly selected from the beta sign-up list. These are the first names in order on the first picture someone sent me of the statue. This is not me cherry-picking names from the list. This is me starting at the top and working down in the order they appear on the first photo sent to me. TRB Productions, aka The Rad Brad, YouTuber with 8 million subscribers, making amongst other things Division videos. Ubi Martin was very hard to trace, but someone much smarter than me did a lot of digging and research, and now I can say with 95% certainty Ubi Martin is the pseudonym used by T Martin, the gaming YouTuber with 3.2 million subs. Yeah, that would be him. Vicious696, better known as the dude who runs a gaming podcast. Gamertag Radio. Cheddar Cheetah, yet another Smurf account. This time it's Swifter, the gaming YouTuber, with 2.6 million subscribers, with a history of making Division videos. Swifter admitted on YouTube that Cheddar Cheetah is a Smurf account he uses online. Lord 187X. That's Ice-T's Xbox gamertag, who also sent out this nauseating tweet 3 days after the launch of the Division. Gathalion, aka King Gathalion, a streamer with 800,000 followers. Rooster Teeth, the Austin-based media company. One of their divisions is The No, which did the most obsequious, servile and fucking slimy interview with lead designer Julian Garrity. I swear to God, if you cut that chick's legs off, she could have slithered across the studio, up his leg and attached herself to his fucking face like that thing in Alien, only using suction. Achievement Hunter, another motherfucking division of Rooster Teeth. Funhouse, yet another division of Rooster Teeth. Cow Chop, another fucking YouTuber with 850,000 subscribers. The No, yet another fucking division of the media company Rooster Teeth. Dan Q, 8,000. Another YouTuber with 500,000 subscribers. At this point, my bullshitometer overloaded and blew up. And I cover Tom Clancy's The Division, so my bullshitometers are made to last. They don't blow up easily. But just casually scanning down the list of names on the rest of the statue, it's a litany of recognisable furniture from the Division promotional community. I fucking recognised most of the names on the plinth, because they were star players, ETF members, YouTubers making promotional videos for the Division, or some combination of all three. I'm sorry, but if your name is on that statue, there is a 99% chance you flat out are someone providing Ubisoft Massive with a reliable supply of positive publicity, either directly or indirectly. The statue inscriptions are basically a slightly vainglorious attempt for the promotional collective to pat themselves on the back. In all seriousness, ponder the following. The company that has spent hundreds of thousands of dollars, perhaps more than that, on this statue, couldn't afford to fix the inventory bug. They didn't have the money to spend on fucking servers during global events. It took them over a year and E3 to fix the support station bug. These are the guys who are peddling you loot crates, hand over fucking fist, and claiming poverty. These are the guys who were boo-hooing over the Vivendi takeover and using it as justification for cost cutting. These are the motherfuckers who on day one of the Division took the majority of the profit and invested it in the Division 2, and hung us out to dry for over 2 years with a broken-ass game. I really hope they feel a smug sense of satisfaction with themselves, immortalising everyone's contribution to that history, and casting it in stone. As I watched that statue being carved, I thought of all the times Ubisoft Massive claimed they couldn't do or fix stuff in the Division because they didn't have the budget. Well, it would appear that whilst they can only afford to pay 3 fucking developers to work on the Division these days, they can piss away millions of dollars on a fucking whim to fly hundreds of people to LA on a jolly and build a giant fucking stone statue congratulating themselves on how super awesome they are. Give yourselves a big pat on the back. Meanwhile, the rest of us are trying to get our promised arm patches to fucking work, dealing with the grenade stagger bug and getting delta errored like a motherfucker. Good job, Massive. Well played. You are the Marie Antoinette of the gaming world. Making a statue in honour of yourselves and your loyal minions in a giant orgy of money wasting. And meanwhile, you can't even keep the fucking servers running properly, for fuck's sake. That shit right there is so fucking priceless that it deserves its own statue. Leave the game half finished and half fucked, but please build a giant statue and carve your names on it. It's important that historians teaching video game history in 50 years know exactly who was complicit in this fucking shit show. This is literally genius. It's entirely possible that Massive have finally nailed it with the Division 2. I mean, so far, it's looking like the sequel is a golden formula. The location of Fallout 4, gear brands like Borderlands, the colour palette of The Last of Us, character classes like Destiny, ultimate skills like Destiny 2, a microtransaction infrastructure like FIFA, and an army of mind-controlled ideological servants like something as frightening as the invasion of the Body Snatchers. On top of that, despite me criticising the fact that E3 only showed people playing the same encounter over and over again, maybe this isn't such a bad thing. I mean, after all, PvE in the Division 1 is basically playing Lexington over and over again. Maybe they realised they only need one mission in the Division 2. It's just got to be something you can complete in under 8 minutes. All this being said and done, right now we are facing 8 months of broken ass shit. Once again, they have demonstrated that they prefer to spend millions on public relations to convince everyone that everything works properly, rather than spending hundreds of thousands on actually making things work properly. That is Ubi logic, right there. I think the saddest part of all of this is how elements in the community are acting now. The worst case scenario has played out. Ubisoft flew the bulk of the social media influencers out to LA, where they partied, took selfies with famous people in the industry, got given bags of goodies, and got a taste of the good life. It telegraphed the message: say nice things, and we will give you nice things. Screw being critical. Screw being honest. Just say nice things and tell the community everything is super exciting, and you will get free stuff, and nice things will happen to you. I would not hold out much hope of anything even approaching journalism covering The Division 2 until about 2 months after it's launched and the cracks in the paintwork start to show. But for now, good luck and happy hunting.